doing today? I'm Erin from Erin Summer Studios. I just wanted to do a quick little casual video today regarding a topic called style shoots. Style shoots is something important for every photographer as well as every potential client, whether it be a bride and groom or any other event client, to know about before they hire their photographer. So first of all, what is a style shoot? Well, a style shoot is a photo shoot a lot like you would see in a magazine, where a group of vendors get together. It could be a makeup artist, of course the photographer themselves, it could be a designer, some kind of clothing company, it could be a venue or a caterer. They all get together in some cases and they create this perfect environment where they can take photos, they all kind of share the images together, and they can create this amazing photo shoot for their portfolios, all of their portfolios. That's one part. The other part of a style shoot can also be where a group of vendors get together and they create this amazing place, and any photographer can pay to be part of this photo shoot with the models and so forth. And usually, the photographers have to pay to be part of this. It could be 10 photographers that all are at the same event, which is highly unlikely, right? Except for the fact it's a style shoot. So this way they're learning, they're developing their portfolio, which is great for the photographer. You want great shots that are straight out of a magazine, well, this is the thing to do. You could pay for it, or you can organize it yourself, get a hold of local vendors, create something together. You guys can share, you give them the images, they're obviously providing the other services, get some models together, build a portfolio. It's great for photographers. So what are the do's and don'ts for photographers? Again, we're still on the photographer part. We're going to get to the client part in a minute. So you just need to know about all of this, so please watch the whole video. When it comes to the photographers' do's and don'ts, photographers, be honest, okay? When you are putting this in your portfolio, do not lie to your clients. Say that this is a live shoot, or that you've done so many weddings that this is your experience, okay? That's not right at all. And in the end, you're going to get in trouble for that because it's false advertising. And when you actually do the live event and you mess up, because I swear to God, you will mess up. If look. If you don't have the experience, just be honest and tell them that you did a style shoot. Tell them that this is your beginning portfolio. You'd like to add them to your portfolio and so forth. But do not lie to your client, okay? I recently ran across some photographers who have been doing just that lying, and it's actually quite disappointing and unprofessional. A recent client of mine was telling me about something and showed me, and I actually got to see the stuff for myself. And a person was advertising on Instagram. And on Instagram, they had amazing photographs. I was like, wow, great work. Well, my client thought that was great work too, until she was looking at other photographers and saw the same exact models, the same exact wedding. How is that possible? Well, okay, it's possible that two photographers are at the same event. I think two photographers at any event is great for different angles, different perspectives. Perfect. Well, the images looked very similar. Again, that can happen too. She looked more closely at it, and there were shout-outs to different vendors on it, but then the other person didn't have shout-outs to the vendors and wasn't shouted out back, which caused for concern and worry. So she looked more into it and found out that, yeah, these photographers were all part of the same style shoot. It wasn't a real wedding at all, but the lady was advertising it like it was a real wedding, whereas the other photographers who were at the shoot actually said, no, this is a style shoot. So it's not cool to lie to any clients. Don't ever do that. Okay, it's gonna bite you in the backside, and I'm telling you, you're gonna lose respect. Like, as a photographer, I have no respect for the person who did this. I would never work with them. I would never hire them to be a second shooter or anything like that with me, because I prefer a photographer who's honest, who cares about their client, who has an eye for detail, and can anticipate anything that might happen at an event. That's super important. If you're not able to do those things and show me a working portfolio of live stuff, I can't hire you as a photographer. If you're honest, I can at least work with you and train you as an assistant so you can become a photographer at some point. But there's no way I'll ever hire somebody who does that. So just that's not cool, guys. Just don't do that, okay? All right. So clients, what does this tell you? When you're looking for a photographer for a wedding or any other event that you have, something you need to look at when you're looking at portfolios online, you're looking at websites, perhaps you're looking at Instagram, perhaps you're on Wedding Wire, not whatever. In any event, you're looking for a great photographer to shoot your wedding or your event. And in most cases, you want the best price, right? Who doesn't want a great deal? So you gotta be careful, okay? Even if you're not looking for a great deal and you don't care, you just, whatever, you still gotta be careful. So you come across a portfolio. It looks fantastic, right? The couple, it looks like fresh out of a magazine. There's a reason for that. The clothing is perfect. Everything just looks fine. All of their pictures look great, and it looks like something that came out of an editorial, out of a magazine. Well, if it looks too good to be true and there's no error anywhere, unless it's highly photoshopped, that's highly unlikely. A live event that's not styled, there has to be room for error, because there are things that are the things that need to be anticipated that are unexpected. So, for instance, the weather. People book their weddings a year in advance. You don't know if it's going to rain, you don't know if it's going to snow, you don't know if it's going to be bright and sunny, you don't know if it's going to be windy like today. You can hear my chimes ringing, right? You just don't know. So the photographer needs to be prepared for those things. They need to have a professional grade camera that actually is water resistant. If they don't, the camera can fail. They need to have looks at proper gear for that, but they also need to know how to photograph those things and make them look good. I'm telling you, I've seen it all. I've been in it all. I've dealt with every culture, okay? Every diversity of skin tones, and that's the other thing too. Skin tones. Now, I think I've had other videos about it in the past. Probably talk about it again in the future. But skin tones. If your photographer does not know how to photograph, let's say, an interracial couple and skin tones that are different, then one person's going to be washed out, or one person's going to be way too dark, so you can't even see. So that's not okay. Concerning the skin tones too, like the bride's dress, right? The bride's dress is white typically, not always, but typically. So when the bride's dress is white, anything that's darker than that white, the levels of contrast are going to flow in the camera, right? So it's going to create more. So in other words, if you're going to expose something for a darker color, the white dress itself is going to be completely washed out. You're not going to see that fine detail of the lace and so forth that's on it, or anything that the bride may like. If there's any details on the dress themselves. Whereas if you go only for the details of the dress, anything that's darker than the dress, you're not going to be able to see in the photo. So you got to know how to actually, is it possible to see both? Of course, but you got to know what you're doing. At a styled shoot, that photographer has hours to photograph, maybe not hours, let's say a long period of time, let's say 30 minutes, right, to photograph a series of 5 shots in the same place at the same time, being told by other professionals how to do it, with a stylist standing by and all that. The reality is this: any events don't typically have that. Some couples have a stylist with them the whole time of the event. Most don't. Again, it costs money, right? And a photographer's got to be able to photograph quickly, very quickly, because at the end of the day, at some point, the bridal party and the couple, they get tired. They want to meet their guests. They want to, have a few drinks. And look, when people start partying and having drinks, they're not going to stand around for a picture. You gotta be firm to be able to give direction quickly. Give direction sternly, but then take the photo quickly, so that way you get that shot immediately. You also have to be able to shoot great candids, right? Catch them off guard. But we're talking about more or less like these pose shots. Everything in a styled shoot, even when it looks candid, is involved with a model or an actor who is making it seem like they're in love with the person that they've only met that day. So, okay, what do you do with that? It's not real love, folks. You're not seeing real love in those pictures. So my advice to any bride and groom who's looking for a photographer and they love the photos, do more research about the photos that you're falling in love with. Absolutely falling in love with the photos, that's great. Talk to the photographer. Is it a styled session, or is it a real event that they did? Another thing you can look for too is see how many events they've actually photographed. If they've got 3 events and they look like crap, and then you look at this one shoot and it's amazing and they have it everywhere, it's probably a styled shoot. Ask them about it. If your photographer is lying to you about whether or not they've done a styled shoot, like my other client, and you found out about it, you probably should never work with them again. or have potential to, because it's lies. If they're going to lie to you about that, there's a good chance they're going to lie to you about things in the contract, and other things as well. And I'm telling you right now, the most important day of your life, or one of the most important days of your life, you don't want to have somebody lying to you. You can't afford that loss. You can't afford that person to not show up at your event. You can't afford that person to screw up the event. The amount of time and energy and money that you're putting into this one day, there's no way you can just remake this again. You can't reshoot this day. So, make sure you choose right the first time, and do your research. It's really important to do the research. Again, styled photo shoots, photographers, you know about them now. You know what to do and not do. Clients, be sure you ask your photographer if they have styled shoots. If the pictures look really great, it's not offensive. It looked like it came out of a magazine. It could have been part of it could be just their style. That's great, but it could also be that. So do your research and find out. Ask. It's okay to ask. And that's pretty much it. Just be careful of the styled shoots. Photographers, you build your portfolio. Fantastic. Don't lie to your clients. Again, ask your photographer what's going on. Make sure you see other samples of live shoots to see what skill set they're at. They need to be able to anticipate anything that could be happening considering culture and traditions, whether it be at the ceremony itself, hand fasting, the passing of the salt, the broom jumping. Sorry about that, tongue twisted. Different things. I mean, obviously there's usually the rings and all the stuff, but there's a lot of different things different cultures have. Again, I said I've photographed pretty much all of them at this point in my life. I just want to make sure that when you guys are finding a photographer, to make sure that photographer knows to anticipate those things too. I don't want to see you choose somebody and then your memories are completely lost because that person just didn't know what they were doing. They're used to shooting people that are standing still for a long time in front of them and completely styled. They got to be able to know how to pose you, how to give proper direction, how to be able to take charge and control of an environment where people may be drinking. They need to be sober themselves and not partying. They need to understand that they're there for actually to be professionals and to work. So all of these things are important. Reviews, testimonials, look for those. Those are great. We're actually on Thumbtack and we are 5-star rated currently. There's some reviews there. I actually have posted some of the reviews on our website as well. So they're not all there because we have so many, but we have a few that are posted on there. So you guys can check that out if you want. Don't forget to check out with other photographers, what they're doing. And I hope you guys have a great day. If you have any questions, remember I'm always here. You can free to ask me. You can message me. You can email me. Be sure to follow and subscribe to YouTube channel for informative videos, samples, and so forth. Again, please, guys, contact me if you have any questions at all. I'm here to help you guys. All right.